Welcome to Barwise Technology Day. My name's Mr. Flynn. I'm a history teacher. Been teaching here at Barwise for 7 years. I just want to give you a quick breakdown on how we do flipped learning. On the left-hand side, you probably recognize the traditional classroom where the teacher gets up to the front of the board. She does some lecturing. You do your notes, and you take copious amounts of notes, and then maybe about two weeks later, you have another test, or maybe a monthly test. I just want to give you the option of looking at flipped learning, where we videotape ourselves. We're not lecturing per se in front of the classroom. We're actually videotaping ourselves and lecturing that way, and the students can either watch the video before by me just basically dumping it into Google Classroom. They can watch it at home, or they can watch it in the classroom if they fail to get that traditional homework assignment. Usually these videos are going to only last between 10 and 11 minutes at the max, so that's a good thing compared to the 1 hour where your teacher used to drone on and you probably fell asleep. The driving question: how can we build the skills necessary to foster creative interaction, collaborative teamwork, student tech skills, and achieve content mastery in a flipped learning environment? Well, here it is. We offer many opportunities for these kids to excel. It's their choice not to do the work. And if they choose not to, then guess what? Here it is. They've made the decision. I can go ahead and support them. I can offer them. I can contact their parents. But the parents are probably not aware that most of this stuff is residing on their Chromebooks. Their own children aren't even accessing it and doing the work. This is your traditional digital kind of curriculum learning aspect. You'll notice there's a blend of three areas station-wise. There's the teacher-led instruction. Like I said, you videotape yourselves. You let the kids watch it. They do the quality digital learning time. Hopefully they're taking some quality notes, which again is a digital learning note taker that I borrowed from Cornell University. And the kids are trained at the beginning of the school year how to use it. Whether they use it effectively or not is their choice, but then they have to turn it in usually about every 2 weeks, depending on where we're at in the instruction of the curriculum. And then of course they come to the classroom, and we're going to discuss this in an interaction and engagement activity. This is the one area that I want you to look at. This is scientific stuff, not something I made, but there are 3 different learning aspects going on with the brain here. And as you can see, we're using a flipped learning environment. It's going to grab these 3 different types of learnings, and this multiplies differentiation. It increases and multiplies the ability for the learner to express themselves, and that is a good thing for learning. The Bloom's technology, well, here it is. The traditional triangle, which most teachers have dealt with. Usually when you were in school, you probably got to the understanding or remembering. You might have been able to apply it, being able to solve and use some things, certainly in the math aspect and in the analyze. But look at the flipped learning. Think about it. If you could watch your video like a Khan Academy thing, or your teacher doing a video and you did it the night before, you could probably do the remembering and understanding at home, and then when you came into the classroom, there'd be the analyzing and applying, or maybe even creating and evaluating. Certainly if you were an engineer or want to be, this is where you want to be spending most of your time, is looking into this field where you've already been introduced to the understanding and remembering. Top reasons why I flipped the classroom. Well, let's face it, I'm not a big person when it comes to grading papers, and quite honestly, you all know that active learning is not copying notes. So I want you to take that into consideration. Why else did I flip it? Well, time. Lower failure rates as a result of the students getting opportunities to do this online. No more dependence on lost paper. I can't tell you how many times when I was doing paper where I had a student come in, lost it, had to reaccomplish it, took it home, said he was going to get it done. He lost it again. And I'm not just saying boys, because girls do it too, but the repetitiveness and having to redo it slowed down the students' engagement and quite honestly affected their learning. The student choice increases learning, and homework is now reduced from an hour to minutes, especially if you're watching a video. And you'll see that in a minute. So how do I make the individual setting happen? Well, I use alternate things. YouTube's, Edpuzzles, Wiser's, GoFormatives, Flipgrid, which I'll talk to you about in a few seconds. But using all of these primer thoughts, using these online resources, which I sometimes have to pay out of my own pocket. Some are free, but most like Wiser and GoFormative, I actually pay out of my own pocket to have. And the reason is that they are my centerpiece to my lessons, and so they're important. Screen-o-matic Screen-O-Matic and Screencastify. These are all video opportunities that you can use. I'm right now using Screen-O-Matic to use to educate you on how we flip classrooms. It's really simple to use. Doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure it out, and that's the beauty of it. Edpuzzles, the thing I like about Edpuzzles simply is this. I can make a video, put it in there, or I can use a YouTube video, put some questions in it, let's say from the History Channel or something, and I want to talk about the Boston Massacre. Well, let's face it, I don't have the actors, I don't have a commercial studio, so I'm not going to be able to recreate the Boston Massacre or the Boston Tea Party. And so I use videos, existing videos that are out there. They're free shareware, or they're borrowed from YouTube. I put it into YouTube. The district has a way of allowing us to go ahead and show these Edpuzzles using YouTube. And then what I do is put questions in there every so often. Strategically, I actually do it for 7th graders because this is the first time they've really had any true history. So I put the answers and the question right there. They can't miss it if they're actually listening, okay? And that's the challenge. Oh, and guess what? The great thing is they have a pause button and they have a rewind button. So if the kid misses it, okay, misses the answer to the question, he can rewind it and go in there with the question, answer it, boom, he gets 100%. I don't understand why my students always do not do well on these things, because they're easy gimme grades, okay? And I usually use these typically as your warm-up, which your teacher probably used when you were in school. The only difference is, guess what? It's audio-visual. So what do we do to group setting? Well, there's so many things. You could be extremely creative. I'm not that creative. You probably are going to meet a lady by the name of Lexi Law, maybe. If you do, God, she and all the ones that are working for technology out there, they are the gurus to some of this stuff. I'm not as creative, but I've tried as best I can. We have some teachers that basically just don't want to do this, so they'll scan a PDF and they'll make it hyper digital, and that's the beauty of using Formative or Wiser. Which is another one. Both of these are paid. Like I said, I pay them out of my own pocket. District doesn't buy it for us. But what I found out is the usage for this, like with Wiser, I can go ahead and write my own condensed version of history. Instead of the students reading a book, they can read it, a very short paragraph. I put a couple questions related to it so to check their understanding, and boom, guess what? It's a great package, and it's like a typical small worksheet. The only difference is instead of you spending hours looking for this stuff or having the kids read it, that worksheet's ready to go, and it gives you a grade. Flipgrid, what I'll tell you about Flipgrid is I give these questions out to the students. The questions give me their opinion. I evaluate it. As long as it's giving me a good feel for them that they understand the material, they can give their Flipgrid feedback, and it's a great way to do it. Okay, and you can do it right on your Chromebook using their own microphone and their own camera. Mind mapping, gone back in the days when you used to do those bubble sheets. Well, guess what? Now this is all electronic versions. Mindomo, Kugel, Dot Storming. I use all of these, and what's great about it is Lucidcharts. You can import pictures, you can put the information on there, and you've created your own mind map to help you prepare for exams. Great thing for problem solving, timelines, organizing, decision making. You can use this even in your own work environment. Here's some other ideas. We use Google Expedition. They're lovely little glasses. You'll see in the right-hand corner one of my students actually from last year using them. We take tours of Boston to other places in the world. Kids are never going to leave Wichita Falls probably, so this is a great opportunity to give them an opportunity to expose outside of the Wichita Falls area. And we even use our Chromebooks at times. I'll find a video that has 360 on YouTube, and we took our kids to San Antonio this year, and we toured the Alamo, so that's a plus thing. So we're ditching the old models of theories. Another thing I want to show you is one of my students created this. I gave him a project. He said he worked with Mr. Freeman, and they use a 3D printer. And so this is an opportunity for this kid. He really wants to be an engineer someday, I think. And based on that, he went ahead and created this lovely 3D model. Other things, we use HyperDocs, green screening productions. Let's face it, to KFDX, KAZ here locally use it. It's a great way to produce stuff. We're thinking about doing commercials to talk about the American Revolution for next year. I just got to figure out how to get my kids interested in doing it. Comic strips are going to be done next week, so we're always using something online to allow these kids to have a creative engagement. Additionally, you'll see this. It's called Padlet. It's like having a 3M sticky note. The only difference is it's an electronic thing, and you can actually import videos. You can actually import pictures. So this is a great way to get these kids focused on learning using Padlet. The only problem is you have to buy it now. It used to be free. They just ran a server, and but it's still relatively cheap. So that's why I purchased it also. Gamification. Just to explain to you, gamification. Basically, you create games. You let the kids do it. It's a great way to review for tests, assessments, and just to get a feedback on how the kids are doing. My failure rate keeps reducing, so you can see that. We're hoping that failure rate drops a little bit more. Just kind of, I've got some students who just really don't want to engage on the work that we've assigned them. Copier costs. Well, look at the cost. It's dropping. And hopefully my goal one day is maybe only cost the district maybe $25 or $50 a copying. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but reducing it that much, and that was a rough estimate based on all the activities that I had to do using paper. The number of online activities, you'll notice that last year I started off with each of these things. You notice that I'm creating more and more, and hopefully next year it will be off the chart with many of the assessments, so that can really start to focus, get the kids to focus on doing these after hours or outside of the classroom. And then when we come into the classroom, we're getting to that building phase. When we look at that diamond shape, the kids are going to be doing creations, and that's really what I want them to do, is be able to analyze this stuff and then create something. And of course, the active learning strategies that I'm hopefully going to generate from using all of this technology will give these kids a better opportunity to learn and eventually apply it when they are lifelong learners and go off to college, or if they're going to join the workforce right out of high school, they'll be able to at least be able to help that workforce do well in the 21st century. And so this is the top reasons why I flip. It's all about the kids. All right, thanks for viewing this. If you ever have any questions, my email is pflynn@WFISD. If you want to go to my webpage, just type in Google Flynn Barwise WFISD and you'll see my webpage. Okay, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I hope you had a great time at Technology Day here at Barwise. Have a great day.